That was what it was like.
Wow. That's very encouraging. I think even you said a lot of sweet things. This really sweet one for me is you being at home crying and God telling your husband to come back home.
Yeah.
And when he saw you crying,
he didn't know
he just came to comfort you.
Yeah, he didn't know I was just by myself. So those things, like
God just sees us.
He sees us, and he's very intentional about us. Very. When people say, "Oh, why are you so passionate?" or "You are too religious," when you have experienced him, you want others to experience what you have experienced. You shouldn't do life without having such a. It's a relationship that's supernatural or very natural, very real, like a father to a child. Do you understand? It's not just this being, who is just like a chessboard. You come in, no, it's someone who like the little details about your life. He wants to make you smile. You're sad, and he will send something or someone to make you smile. Someone will just send an encouraging word. Do you understand? Yeah.
Okay. We'll get to the sweet spot shortly, but it's okay if you're not ready to talk about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about loss.
Okay, sure.
Dealing with loss.
Yeah.
You experienced a miscarriage before this babies.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that journey.
Okay, so this was in the first year of marriage, and I've talked about this in smaller groups, where I've been asked to speak about the waiting journey. And I remember we were already waiting. By then, but it wasn't long. I think it was a year after, but you know how it is when they tell you 6 months afterwards, then you need to see a doctor if you've been trying and nothing has happened. So, and this just happened, got pregnant and we were so happy. And so I remember then, the people we told, and I told my mom, the way she ran across the room. I'll never forget. And my husband was away, wasn't around. So I told him, and he was like, so that was when I knew he masked the fact that he was waiting. He was like, I should go and do another test. Like as if to, I was like, oh really? So it was I didn't even know, because we never talked about it then, because we're still like a year into it. And I was so happy. And then I think it was just before, I was just waiting for the 6-week count to go and see, to begin antenatal. I'd downloaded what to expect, put all those things in, and calculated using your last period cycle, all those things. And I was so happy. I was reading all the things. I read a lot.
I know.
And I research a lot. So I'd already read all those things. I was waiting. And so I told a few people, told my mother-in-law, told my mom, told my sister, just like very close family circle, because it was like, this had happened. And then just said spotting one day. And in fact, I went for a Christian event. Do you understand? So I went for a Christian event, and while I was there, I said spotting. It was mild. And I was, of course, very worried, very scared. I had to come back to where my hospital was. And when I got there, the doctors did the test, and I heard a heartbeat for the first time. And so I was so relieved, and it was so real. And then when I got home and they were like, oh, bed rest and all, I was like, I'm okay. The first time in Valley, it wasn't. So I was like, oh, I'm good. I felt my mom then came to join me. Like I mentioned, my husband wasn't around. So she took me home. And while we were there, I think the night before, I started feeling cramps again. And then I went to the bathroom to use myself, and I just felt coming out. And I was so scared. So I went back to the hospital, and then we did the test. And this test that they just did yesterday that I heard heartbeats, the next day the doctor just said, oh, so sorry that it's no longer there. And I remember having to call my husband, and he was about to go and minister. He was about to go on stage. He was already into church. And I just told him that I just experienced. And he had to, this is his own story too, because he's one that will share his testimony. And he had to go and worship. He had to go and declare that he's the only God, despite the fact that we just experienced a loss. I didn't know that it was going to affect me that deeply or that much, because we weren't even
actively trying.
Yeah, we were trying, but we weren't really. It was okay to happen. Like we were just 1 year now, so maybe it was just taking it a bit of time. So by the time it was, I remember then, I think that was even what changed my body, changed my cycle, changed my desire for a child. After that, that now that was when we now started actively waiting. So from 2018 to now. And I remember that there's a way that nobody, no matter how much, God bless my mother, she was there and she was very, very supportive. I remember anything I wanted to eat, literally, was trying to make sure that I was okay. But I remember that there's a way that there's no comfort of man that would work, that would be sufficient. And then I used to go and just take walks, prayer walks, and have conversations with God. And I remember one evening, I was just walking and just expressing. I tell him how he is. There's no point to be hiding or coding. He sees my heart. He knows what I'm thinking anyway. So I was just telling him how I felt, that I felt so sad. And then he said to me that because I also got a lot of support from people that knew. And he said to me that, if I could come physically, well, that's the impression I got. People, because everyone say, how do you know it's all about that? If I could come physically, I would look after you, hug you. But because I can't, all the people around you are representatives of me. So it's a demonstration that I love you. I put people out. I was never alone. I had people who were very supportive. And for some reason, when God answers you, people may not understand, so that's the encounter. But it would make so much sense to you and it would bring so much peace to you. That was what happened. And that was what, for me, that period, just after that day, I never felt so bad. I never felt as bad. I just felt such a sense of love from God that it's like I'm a parent too. I feel your pain. It's not that
you're not alone in this.
Yes, you're not. And I send people around you to make it easy for you, to cushion and so that the fact that you have people around you is a sign that I'm with you. They are representatives of me. So I remember that, and so I just left it. But it changed something after that. Yes, I wasn't mourning anymore. I wasn't as sad as I was anymore. But it then triggered a desire in me that I didn't even know was there. I was never maternal, like, I wanted, of course, every woman, yeah, that's presumptuous, but a lot of people would want, when your own child you would love. I love my nieces like
to bits
a lot, so that's why I fight my sister, because I don't think she gives me enough time with them to talk to them. So that was that. But that experience then triggered a desire in me that wasn't there before. That was when I really wanted, children. I started waiting actively, trying actively, and then that was when nothing was happening for years.
You see, this waiting is a very interesting thing. I don't think waiting is ever easy. At
no
any
matter
point,
it's
never easy.
Never.
But then again, I'm reminded that they that wait upon the Lord
shall renew their strength.
They will mount up with wings like eagles.
Yes, they will walk and not faint. They will run and not be weary.
Yes, and we're here now, and God has brought, just like your name, He's brought us joy.
Yeah.
Let's talk about when you found out you were pregnant.
So, of course, you can imagine. So it's very interesting because this is one of the most difficult journeys I've had to go because when you've suffered a loss, the unfortunate thing is just like when you've suffered a heartbreak, it erodes a little trust in you. It steals something away from you. The first pregnancy, I never even imagined miscarriage. It wasn't even part of the story. I was just cruising. But with this one, every twinge, every move, will it stay? That's the battle I've had to face. I think that's one of the most difficult parts of the journey. At a loss. And I think many people don't talk about it a lot. How pregnancy is not the easiest of things because your body goes through a lot of changes. And then to now deal with mental struggle. If there was anything I prayed about and asked people to pray, was just for God to give me faith. I didn't want to bond with the pregnancy for a very long time. I think I told you that. Because I didn't want to be, I didn't think I would be able to survive it. I would survive it, but I didn't know how I would be able to come away. I couldn't experience another.
Thank God you haven't, and you will not experience another in Jesus'
name. So I didn't download all those what to expect. I did it much later. I used to read all those communities. I didn't read. I didn't want to be attached, just in case. Do you understand? So I would just be watching every day. I didn't allow myself to be too joyful. You understand? So even I can't even tell you that I was so happy.
I remember.
I was more worried. I didn't even check baby things like I didn't even want to be too expectant.
So that you won't,
because I think it's that protectionism or self-preservation that we have as human beings, that once something has happened, you want to protect yourself from that kind of hurt. And I felt like this one was going to even be worse because you had waited for so long. This was a different kind of journey. It was more, a lot more was at stake. So I didn't release myself to enjoy it. I was very happy, but not happy enough as I ought to have been, because I was just watching and waiting that, okay, month one, every week it was moving too slowly.
Especially because you now had an incident in America.
Yes. That happened. Even the first trimester, I couldn't wait to pass that. And I thought, after that, that was when the first one happened, and maybe I'll now be okay. Which one? If you are worried, if you don't deal with it, it's not going to get better. It just got worse. I was even still sharing with my husband earlier today that, man, they told you the first trimester is the hardest, but now they now tell you that third trimester is like, when you have to be checking to make sure the babies are not kicking, count it 10 times. You didn't tell me this before. Like, you have to count the
what?
Yeah, you have to count the kicks like 10 times in the morning. They have to kick 10 times within an hour or two, and do the same in the evening. I'm like, what kind of stress is this? What kind of... I have told myself I'm going to...
First time.
Yes, they won't tell. There's so many. Don't worry. Let me not tell you too, so that you...
you've gone through this, so that I will not be surprised.
When you get that, I was like, what kind... You did not tell me this now. The babies have to be kicking constantly. If they don't kick, it's problem. If they kick too much, problem.
Wahala.
So I was like, what kind of... So I'm like, but to the glory of God, though, I have athletes. So I don't even need to count, because throughout the day, by the grace of God, is consistent. So I don't even need to say I have not felt. It was just once, that one I felt like the usual movement wasn't, and I went to the hospital. But aside that, I was like, what kind of thing is this? Then they'll say, what are the other precautions? In Jesus, I had to even start skipping some posts. There's information overload. They may wrap the umbilical cord around their neck. They may
I'll never forget the first time that I felt them kick. It was like the joy in my heart.
Yeah.
I remember feeling like I wanted to jump.
Yeah.
Can you remember the first time you felt the kick?
No, I can't, because I was already feeling... When we were little critters, when it was just a scratch, I felt when the doctor was like, early on, because they've been very, very active. I'm grateful for that. So even when it's disturbing, because it is, as in, you can't sleep sometimes, even when it's a lot, I'm like, I said, enjoy yourself.
Absolutely.
Do it. Yeah. This room, you own it for this season. Because I'd rather that than me not feel. I'm like, I can never even complain. I said that I'm even afraid, so that I don't go and tell them and they will stop. No. I said, kick as much as you want. Even though I was just, okay, please, let me sleep now. I was telling the doctor earlier today that if you sleep on the left, you people lie to us that you sleep on your left. Because me, if I sleep on the left, they protest. They actually start kicking arms that is uncomfortable for them. I sleep on the right, they do the same. So literally I have to sit down and sleep. And I have more ligament pain then when I do that. I'm like, we will bear this ligament pain with joy.
Hallelujah. Amen. And if you're watching and you're just hearing her saying babies, and you're wondering, Yes, I'm sure that at this point, it's safe to say that we're having twins. We're having praise two God. Kids. Yeah. Praise God. Who was the most dramatic response to your pregnancy announcement?
All the people who... I think everybody was dramatic. Everybody was dramatic. For my mothers-in-law, so both my mom and my mothers-in-law, of course, they did maybe we can, I hope it will play.
Yeah, we should add the clips of their reactions.
Rolling on the floor. I saved everyone, honestly. To my friends crying on the phone, to...
You had the nerve to tell me while I was in a meeting.
Yes.
A serious meeting with clients. I just started crying in the meeting. I said, sorry, excuse me. Say, are you okay? I said, I'm okay. I went outside. I was like, God.
Even my friends that are not very emotional, like Doyin, for instance. Doyin was in meeting. Doyin was calling me crying. Just, like people that, people that are not usually very emotional. Even them was like,
you knew that I was going to
No, yours was a given. No.
So Doyin, I'm surprised that, no, I'm not surprised.
She's emotional, funny enough, but
I'm not surprised.
You wouldn't think, I didn't think, even Wilson, her husband, like people, so then people said, we now saw, I thought I saw love. I saw love on a different level. A lot of people who were so excited, like the joy, my family, both our siblings, especially my siblings, I think for them it was just something really, really special.
I don't think you know how much people have been praying for you.
Yes, yes.
I think
yeah,
I'm hoping that this season has revealed to you.
Oh, it has.
People praying for you in their private corners.
Oh my goodness, it has. And I appreciate them even more because they didn't have to come and give me unsolicited advice because they were praying. Yeah, it's true. They didn't. You know, some people were not even praying. And ones that come and tell you, you're not doing this, you're not doing that.
Yeah.
You know, so but they, you know, so I would see some people and they enjoy, like people that were not even family or like close friends, just maybe mentors, and like people would start. It was amazing.
Right.
Yeah.
It is still amazing.
It's still
We're counting down
Yeah.
to the final arrival of our bundles of
My
joy.
God's
But what would you say are the interesting things you discovered about yourself during this journey? I know one.
Oh, yeah, tell me, please.
Since I've known Ayo, she has never eaten a bar.
Oh no, those ones are slight cravings now.
The craving. I was surprised.
No,
See,
I was just
I'm
sharing.
craving eba, okra soup, and
Now I wasn't
seafood.
craving it. I was looking for what would suit my palate at that time because a lot of food wasn't.
I think
I'm
that was the
such
most
a
shocking
sweet
thing.
tooth,
That and
yeah.
agbalumo.
I'm such a sweet tooth, and I went off all things. Funny enough, there were things I prayed for.
Really?
I used to pray that, Lord, I'm pregnant. Let me hit cake and ice cream. Let me love fruits and veggies. Although I don't like fruits and veggies now, it's a chore because I ate a lot of it in my first trimester. But I went totally off cake, which a lot of people know me. Like if I look at it, I can even be sick. Ice cream was pizza, hamburgers,
Burger. I think that's the most shocking.
bread. I could not stand bread.
You queen of bread.
Yes. So I was like, I like the things that worked for me. But now I'm back. But now that I'm back, they now say, oh, you see all this, they don't tell you, don't worry, they don't tell you, they cannot exhaust it. So when you get there every week, it's giving you new things. Then all the things, okay, another shocking thing, oh, you cannot eat. There's so many restrictions. Don't eat this, don't eat that. I'm like, what can I eat then? So it's a lot of sacrifice. And that's why I now understand that if a mother can go through that kind of sacrifice for you, then you can understand the kind of love that, you know, that's why they talk about love of mothers and children. It's a bond that you can never describe.
And it's why mothers deserve like 10 Mothers
No,
Day.
it's not even enough. We need more Mother's Day.
So like maybe like 15 in a year.
No, maybe every week.
Every week. I love that. I second the motion.
Every week. You can't do enough. No. We go through a lot. Your body changes and you don't hate the changes. I remember when I first started seeing stretch marks. I don't have stretch marks on my stomach. I would complain to my husband, like, God, I didn't like looking at my stomach. He's like, babe, no, my husband is very supportive, very supportive. I'm really grateful to God for him, and I'm glad that we're going through this journey together. And there's no negativity. Oh, no, baby, it's not my nose. You'll be okay. Just see my nose, see my color.
You really tried to hide it too. Not a lot of people knew you were pregnant. They watch you on TV.
No, I do all this. I do all these things in private. I'll never come out and be saying all this.
No, I know, but I'm just saying, like, not a lot of people knew you were pregnant from watching you on
although
TV.
some people did.
And shout out to your wonderful laptop, always saving the day in front of you on screen. And
God bless the day I started using my laptop.
It's as if you knew.
Yeah, so I didn't have to change anything.
Right.